What's up, home slices? What's up, home slices? It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you all with my review for season one, episode number 7 of The Last OG. And so this time around, Trey actually sees how easy it is to fall back into his old ways. I want to apologize for my appearance. I've made some changes in my life recently and they just leave me tired all the time, and I'm gonna wash my hair later today. I just don't have the energy to come on camera looking good and uh putting up the camera, the lights, and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about what happened in this episode. We see that Trey is becoming more a part of the family. Josh is open to it. um Tiffany Haddish's character Shannon is into it. The kids are definitely into it. He's cooking at the house, and um, it's becoming like a blended type of family. And it's nice to see things that way. And while they're talking, they talk about them volunteering at a homeless shelter. Now, here's the deal with this particular episode. You all know that I like Tiffany Haddish a whole bunch. I followed her career for a long time. I've met her in person and seen her do stand up in person before. My issue with this particular episode is that she did not do a good job of being a serious character this time around. There was a part where she was Trey, went to the homeless shelter and was helping people out, giving them cooking tips, treating them like people. And they really appreciated that. They really took a liking to Trey. And his daughter was filming it for a documentary. And so, he got to see himself in that capacity. And he liked what he saw. But then there was a point where Shay was saying that, this isn't going to last long. The fundraisers, can only do so much without the funding. The homeless shelter is not going to, it's not going to be able to last long. And so when Shay was getting emotional, or when her character was supposed to be getting emotional about the homeless people, it was very apparent that Tiffany Haddish was acting uh, and like doing a bad job at it. And as much as I hate to say anything against Tiffany Haddish, we all have to admit when, the people we like don't do a good job. Beyonce is an excellent singer and performer, but she's a terrible actress. So I can say that in the moment, and it's so weird because I've read Tiffany Haddish's book. And if y'all have never heard her say it before, there was a point where she was homeless. She was living out of her car. And I didn't understand how she didn't draw from her own experience to make her performance in that moment more believable. But whatever. I feel like Tiffany Haddish did a bad job of expressing sad emotions during this particular episode. But anyway, moving on. Trey is convinced by Bobby to start selling crack to make money to help out this particular homeless shelter. And so he finds an old stash of crack that's 15 years old that has turned yellow. And so they rebrand it as lemon drops and sell it to stockbrokers that are looking for a good time. And they're making a lot of money off of it. They're sending the money to the homeless shelter for improvements, and things are going well. But Trey is, making this money, and Bobby wants to be in it for the money. Bobby wants to buy chains and Jordans and nice clothes with some of the money that he set aside. And the whole theme is very Robin Hood themed, and take from the rich and give to the poor. And unfortunately, I feel like that's the way a lot of people think. Like, I don't understand why Trey would risk being back in jail for dealing drugs and losing out more time after missing the first 15 years of his children's lives, not being able to see Shay again, not being able to see, basically the light of day and breathe free air. Why would he risk that? And I feel like a lot of people think that way, that they justify that whatever they're doing is okay without really thinking about if the consequences are like seriously worth it. And so, I think it's Mullins is Cedric the Entertainer's character's name, and is basically telling him this is what recidivism is all about. Like, people get out in the streets and they can't resist the temptation to go back to the way things used to be when they were engaging in illegal activities. And of course, a part of that is the fact that people have become so obsessed with the box that you check on your application about whether you have had a felony or not. And while criminal history is like important in a lot of different professions, there needs to be more people who are willing and able to hire people who are out of jail if we want to cut down the recidivism rates. But it just bothered me so much that Trey thought he was actually doing something good for the community, and he realized how screwed up it was when one of the first guys that he sold a lemon drop to showed up to the homeless shelter. It ruined that man's life, and Trey had to kind of run away from that situation. So in the meantime, Amir, the daughter, is filming the documentary, and she decides to have it focus on Trey. So she likes to do cinema verite, which is basically filming people when they don't know they're being filmed so that you can get a real reaction out of them. And apparently, when Trey was saying that he was selling crack to give to the hood and it got all messed up and things didn't go right, he saw that Amir was filming him from behind a tree, and now she knows that he's back to selling drugs. And so now, unfortunately, like, it's real. These people are not real. This is a fictional show, but there's something that happens when your kids don't idolize you anymore. When I think everybody experiences this. When you're a child, you kind of look up to your parent as like kind of a superhero. And at some point along the way, maybe like in your tween or teenage years, you realize that your parents are human and you don't look at them the same way anymore. And they've all kind of been in maybe this honeymoon stage, particularly um, the children have been in this honeymoon stage that we have our mom, we have our stepdad, and now we have our biological dad, and now everything is all good. And then you find out that he's selling drugs. Like, it messes up your perception of that. And it's unfortunate that she had to hear that. But what's more unfortunate is that Trey thought that he was doing the right thing by selling drugs, regardless of who he was selling it to. By selling drugs, he ruined a man's life, essentially. And he wasn't doing the right thing. And for him to allow himself to believe he was doing the right thing is kind of crazy. So, anyways, I kind of enjoyed the episode. There are times where I watch this show and I wish that it was funnier to me. Um, there are moments where like I laugh pretty hard, but it's not, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the show sometimes. I don't know how many more episodes there are or whatever. But next week, we'll get to see the ramifications of what happened with Amir finding out that her father was selling rocks. But I will say something as an entrepreneur and someone who majored in business and who's going to get her MBA. I do like the idea that he rebranded crack to make it to make it more appealing to a new audience. And that's something that people who are trying to open businesses and things like that need to really think about. You can sell something old and make it new. You can tweak it. You can um, change the way that you talk about it, change the name of it to make it, more popular or something that sells more. That's the good lesson out of this whole situation. But selling crack after you went to jail for selling crack the first time is just not a good idea, Trey. Why would you do that? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is the end of my review. I'm going to be posting some more videos. Like I said, now that a lot of the shows that I've been reviewing have gone off the air. I'm trying to get a little bit more creative with the types of things that I post on my channel. And it's actually a little hard to come up with ideas, or not necessarily hard to come up with ideas, but maybe harder to put them into play. Um, but I'm going to work hard to make sure that my channel is what I would like for it to be, and just keep moving forward. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Slices.